On the evening of November 26, 2008, Mumbai was operating like any other major global financial hub. Millions of people were moving through the city's densely populated streets, completely unaware of a threat approaching along its sprawling coastal geography. 10 armed militants from the Pakistan-based terrorist organization Lashkar-e-Taiba were in the final stages of a highly coordinated stealth operation. To cross the Arabian Sea undetected, the group hijacked a local Indian fishing boat, utilizing a vessel that wouldn't draw attention from standard coastal patrols or maritime radar. As they neared the shoreline, the attackers abandoned the fishing boat and transferred into small, motorized inflatables. These low-profile vessels allowed them to slip through the final stretch of water and land quietly near the city's waterfront around 8 p.m. By treating the ocean as their entry vector, the operatives completely bypassed Mumbai's land-based security checkpoints, stepping into the city with absolute tactical surprise. The moment they made landfall, the men didn't stay together. They deliberately separated into highly organized, heavily armed subgroups. Within minutes, they struck multiple locations almost simultaneously. Gunfire hit cafes, hospitals, luxury hotels, and transit hubs. The wide geographic spread created a massive, synchronized wave of panic across the southern peninsula. The first responders on the ground faced a massive disparity in firepower. Mumbai's local police force was equipped for standard urban crime control. Many officers were carrying only wooden lathis, leaving them severely outmatched by the military-grade assault weapons the attackers brought ashore. Striking multiple targets at the exact same time was a calculated tactic. It overloaded emergency dispatch lines and froze the city's command structure, preventing any unified police response in those critical early hours. The initial phase of the assault aimed to maximize casualties in crowded public spaces. At the Chhatrapati Shivaji terminus, attackers opened fire indiscriminately, targeting hundreds of passengers moving through the massive transit hub. But at the luxury hotels, the Taj Mahal Palace and the Oberoi Trident, the militants shifted tactics. Instead of a hit-and-run active shooter scenario, they began taking guests and staff hostage within these massive, labyrinth-like environments. Once inside, the operatives deliberately ignited structural fires in different sections of the properties. These fires served a dual purpose. They acted as a psychological weapon to terrify trapped guests, while the dense smoke created a physical barrier, blocking sightlines and barricading corridors against incoming rescue teams. By combining hostages, heavy gunfire, and localized fires, the militants engineered a way to drag a sudden strike into a grueling 60-hour siege broadcast live around the world. Out on the streets, local officers mounted a fierce resistance near Kama Hospital. During these dark, close-quarters exchanges, the city lost 3 of its top anti-terror commanders, Hemant Karkare, Ashok Kamte, and Vijay Salaskar. Despite those losses, a physical confrontation shortly after successfully stopped one of the fleeing vehicles. This single interception broke the absolute anonymity of the assault force. That clash led to the arrest of Ajmal Kasab, the sole militant taken alive. Having a living operative in custody provided authorities with actionable intelligence about the plot while the siege was still unfolding. Meanwhile, the heavy lifting of ending the siege fell to the National Security Guard, but the NSG had to be flown in from New Delhi. Once they arrived, they spent the next 48 hours clearing the Taj Hotel and Nariman House room by room. Relying on a specialized force stationed on the other side of the country exposed a massive time lag vulnerability in India's rapid response infrastructure. Those travel hours gave the attackers time to fortify their positions. When the operation concluded on November 29th, 166 people were dead and over 300 injured. The human cost deeply shook the city and the international community. With the gunfire silenced, investigators immediately shifted from rescue to forensic reconstruction. They combined Kasab's interrogation testimony with physical evidence recovered from the attack sites. Among the debris, authorities secured a crucial piece of technology, a satellite phone used by the attackers. Extracting the internal logs from these devices revealed real-time audio instructions. Handlers located overseas were actively orchestrating the operatives' movements throughout the 60 hours. This digital footprint gave investigators undeniable, internationally verified evidence linking the plot to Lashkar-e-Taiba. It cemented the geopolitical origins of the assault and drove immediate diplomatic action. The systemic failures of 2611 forced India to rebuild its defense systems, starting with the coastline. To close the maritime loophole, the government funded new coastal security networks and increased naval patrols along the Arabian Sea. Internally, the government restructured how it handled threat data. They built a centralized intelligence sharing grid to ensure fragmented tips would no longer slip through the cracks between different agencies. And to solve the deployment delay of their specialized forces, the government decentralized the National Security Guard. They established permanent regional counterterrorism hubs in major cities to guarantee a rapid response. While the siege exposed severe vulnerabilities, the resulting reforms gave India a modernized response capability. The tragedy remains a defining lesson in how quickly security protocols must evolve to meet new decentralized threats.